Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It looked like we got action. It looked like it's going to be the return of Tank Davis. Man, Tank done had a hell of a year, man. Tank already done fought twice this year. Hector Garcia, Ryan Garcia, then did a bid in jail, and now it appears that he might get in the ring one more time in 2023, and that could come the end of this year, maybe December. Now, it's being reported that more than likely he'd be facing off against Aesop Pitbull Cruz doing the rematch, part 2. Oh, we got to talk about it. What up, YouTube? Big T, Heavy Bad Boxing TV, man. Get your goof ass in here. Hit the bag. Hit that like button for your boy. That helps the channel. You know, I appreciate that love. Shout out my gang, man. My bag hitters. Y'all know who y'all are. I appreciate that love. All right, so Tank Davis, Aesop Pitbull Cruz 2, part 2. Something you want to see? Now, I know for the casual, especially the casual amigo, the casual Mexican fan, they're going to be loving that. I think a lot of Mexican fans felt like Aesop Pitbull Cruz did a fantastic job against Tank Davis, and that it was a narrow loss. And I agree with that to some extent. I do think it was a pretty close fight. But why was it a close fight? It was a close fight because for more than half of the fight, you had a one-armed Tank Davis. And a one-armed Tank Davis managed to pull of the fight out against Aesop Pitbull Cruz. Now, here's the question. What do you think a two-armed Tank Davis does against Aesop Pitbull Cruz? He beats him, bro. You know. And listen, the way I view this fight, I don't mind it because it is a decent tune-up fight for Tank Davis. Even though he's fought twice this year, I don't believe he actually needs a tune-up, but he did have to do that little bid and sit in jail. We don't know how well he was taking care of himself. And I'm a big tune-up guy. I think that was detrimental for Errol Spence not getting a tune-up before Bud Crawford. I do believe in traditionally doing tune-ups to make sure you're sharp for the next big opponent that you might chase. But in Tank Davis' case, that just hasn't been the case. As far as him fighting anybody whom I believe to be elite, and I've said this on all of his opponents, even though I do believe most of these guys have been quality opponents, and most of them undefeated, except for Aesop, of course. I think he had at least one loss when they first fought. But the Hector Garcias and the Ryan Garcias and the Rolly Romeros, all undefeated fighters, all whom I believe to have been, quality, not elite, because y'all be getting that misconstrued. I just believe that they were quality opponents, quality undefeated opponents that a lot of people, was riding high on and felt like had an opportunity to, shake up the world against Tank Davis, right? Because here's the thing. Either you think Tank Davis is really that good and you want to give him credit for beating these quality opponents, or you think that Tank Davis is really that bad or mediocre, and he's barely getting by these guys, and that's just not the case. He's knocking these guys out, right? So you have to give him the credit. A lot of y'all don't be wanting to give Tank no damn credit. Give him that credit for that IQ, man. Give him that credit, man, for going in there and boxing against some of these quality guys. Now, not so much Hector Garcia, because, it was a lot of front foot action from Tank Davis in that fight because, of course, Hector was a much smaller guy. But against Aesop Pitbull Cruz, against Rolly Romero, and against Tank Davis, that was all back foot. I said Tank Davis. Ryan Garcia and Rolly Romero and Aesop Pitbull Cruz, that was all back foot action from Tank Davis. That was all noggin. He set all of those guys up with great shots, except for Aesop, of course. But with Rolly Romero and Ryan Garcia, whether you believe for them to be quality opponents or not, he set them up beautifully, right? And of course, Ryan Garcia, a lot of y'all picked Ryan to say that was a 50-50 fight. Yeah, I heard you. I saw it. I seen the polls and shit. You know what I'm saying? So I like to give him credit for quality undefeated opponents. But yet to be in there with somebody whom we all feel, especially the hardcore fans, feel is elite. You know what I mean? That's what has eluded Tank Davis. And I just don't think fighting Eastside Pitbull Cruz for a second time helps his case at all. I do think it's good to stay sharp and for a tune-up fight. And for those delusional Mexican fans, my amigos, 'cause I rock with the Mexicans, man. I keep it a buck. I love a lot of the Mexican style. That ain't no secret. To the point where if you check out my video about Jermell Charlo and Canelo, David Benavidez and Demetrius Andrade, I'm picking all the Mexicans to win. So I rock with the Mexicans. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I'm unbiased. What can I say? But, Eastside Pitbull Cruz is an elite. If you really want to see this rematch between Eastside and Tank Davis, you're more than likely you're just a big old casual Mexican fan. Because again, if he beat him with one arm, what do you think he's going to do with two? And look at Pitbull Cruz. Look at the boy's IQ. I don't even think Isak knows what the hell a jab is. Isak don't even know. Isak don't even know what a jab is, bro. He ain't jabbing his way in or nothing, nigga. He's the hook mouth. He's a hook machine. he's a hook machine. And Tank just too big of a thinker, bro. And if he's going to be able to utilize both of his hands for more than half the fight this time, it's just more trouble for Eastside Pitbull Cruz. But I don't blame him. It's it'll be the second biggest payday of Eastside's life. And it makes sense for Tank's handlers and PBC and Showtime. It's an in-house fight. They get to keep all the money. You know what I'm saying? So it definitely makes sense from a business standpoint if you're not going to throw him in there with nobody elite. Who else is going to sell like a Mexican? You know what I mean? So I get it. Am I excited about this one? Nah, of course I'm going to watch it. But and I like Eastside Pitbull Cruz at the end of the day. Even though I'm taking jabs at his IQ, I like the grit. And I like the fact that he keeps coming forward. And, I like to see Tank fighting off I'm gonna be real. I like to see Tank fighting off the back foot and thinking in there, and going through some type of adversity. You know what I'm saying? And having to think his way out of a situation, especially against strong punchers like a Eastside Pitbull Cruz. That can be entertaining to some point. But I guess with Tank Davis about to be 29 years old, if he hasn't turned 29 already, not having for anybody elite and not having a real belt at 35 all this time, it's just I'm disappointed in where his legacy is at this point. Super happy for the success he's been able to gain as far as money. You know what I mean? He's made a ton of money for sure. But definitely disappointed as far as the legacy part goes for Tank Davis. But you guys let me know what you think in the comment section about this fight. Tank Davis, Eastside Pitbull Cruz more than likely happens this year, if not early next year. All right, that's all I got for y'all on this one, man. Big T.O. Heavy Bag. Talk to him, Roger.
Most motherfuckers don't know shit about boxing.